Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and what we desire, and the planet that brings our desires to us, is moving into a square in the week ahead with Mars, who's sitting on the south node of what we need to surrender or let go of. But the good news is that Mars is holding hands with the asteroid Ops, which can bring new opportunities to us and happy endings after times of difficult times or struggle or travail. So we have a couple of stories in our sky that are quite beautiful and quite rare. That South Node story with Mars makes it out of our lifetimes rare. For Mars in the South Node and the square to Venus this way from a synodic cycle that began in February of 2024 is not something you've encountered in this lifetime. Basically, every year to year and a bit, Venus will join together with Mars in the sky in a conjunction that sets a up to 2 year story in play. And that conjunction happened February of 24, and it completes in January of 26. And so we're going to talk about your sign, how this story will play out in the week ahead. It's what we call a closing or final chapter square. It's completing something that you began way back in February of 24. And this is the last act. Okay, the last story. Do you want that thing? Do you want that relationship? Do you want that house? Do you want that money? Do you want this job? What do you desire? Are you sure? What are you going to keep? What are you going to let go of? And what's good about it is that Mars says let go, surrender, release because it's fated. And Venus says opportunity and happy endings. What an interesting sky. Who doesn't want happy endings and letting go of what you don't need of anyway? Don't need it anymore? Time to throw it away and put it into the garbage. Just like old clothes you don't need anymore. I give them to Goodwill, you know? So we're going to break the sky down. I would like you to take a screenshot of a story to begin, and that'll help you understand the pivot points or the turning points in this synodic cycle. If you hear something outside, there's like a frigging garbage truck or something out there. It's driving me insane. Let's start with the synodic cycle. What we have going on is Venus, Mars are in a conjunction together. I'm not sure I'm sharing. I can't see that I'm sharing, so let's try it again. Yes, I am sharing. Okay, great. All right. So Venus and Mars came together February 22nd of 2024, and they did that in the sign of Aquarius. And by the way, they did the same thing in the spring or January of 22, which is rare, back to back. So for Aquarius rising, sun and moon, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, square, angular, opposite the sign of Aquarius, this has been a very important 4-year story. Venus came into a square to Mars in August of 2024. It was on the 23rd. That was the testing or the opening testing of a much longer story that's completing this week. You might want to put that sort of August 23rd-ish date around that time on your mental calendar or take a photo, because you're going to be able to put together pieces of the story and see the major plot points. The next one was the opposition between Mars and Venus on December 12th, 2024. And finally, Venus in her last square, closing square to Mars, July 23rd, 2025. And we finished the story January 8th of 2026. So this is a very important love, money, desire, action, decisions, what you need to separate Mars in order to get what you desire. Often we get what we want by choosing to eliminate what we don't want. You can't have it all, right? You can't always have it all. For Mars separates and Venus unites. And when they work together in that conjunction and give you a 4-part story, the mechanism of drawing to you to unite with your possessions or desires or values or what you want, Venus and Mars. Let's take away what you don't want. Let's clean up. Let's get rid of it. But he often takes things away that we think we want. So there's that tricky part of Mars. Take a peek at this story as well. Another chart for you guys I'd like to show you. And it's this. Nope, that's not it. Let me get it. I don't know why I didn't show you what I clicked on. You might want to take a screenshot of what I'm about to show you. This is just the overall look at how a synodic cycle appears in astrology. And you'll see how a conjunction between Mars and Venus will happen on this kind of cycle. That's Leo in 2021, July, and then February of 2022, it was in Capricorn that they joined. And then in March of 2022, it was Aquarius. In February of 2022, it was Aquarius. So you'll see that cycle is very repeating and rinsing. But why I want you to know that is for you Aquarians in particular, Leos as well, because you're opposite each other. This cycle has happened before. It was back in December of 1997 that Venus joined with Mars and closed that cycle up by August of 1998. That was a very fast cycle. And so you might go back to basically the first 8 months of 1998 in essence, and notice that you made some major desire changes in your life, or had some very interesting Venus Mars narratives of what you desire and what you must leave. But also in 1992 in Aquarius as well in February. And that one played out until January of 1994. And that's a much longer cycle due to retrogradation. So you're comparing, I'm just giving you notes of the last time this kind of cycle happened in the sign of Aquarius. Let's go ahead and do your sign. Today, we're not going to cover world astrology, although Venus is a goddess of beauty, but also of peace. Mars is a god of war. And in the closing square, there may be the end of any kind of wars that have been prevailing in the world as a possibility, trying to finish up or close out a war. But you kind of would have to go back to the inciting incident, so to speak, like in a screenplay, and say, well, what was the inciting incident in February of 24? What was going on? Mostly I think of the Gaza war myself with Israel, because that started in the fall of 23. And by February 24, we were going through a period where we recognized this wasn't going to end anytime soon. And it was going to be quite the catastrophe. So maybe look for the chapter of the closing of that war. If you want to call it a war requires two nations, right? Two nations with a military. That's not this. This is not a war. You can call it what you want, but it's not a war. Let's go ahead and let's talk about your sign. Let's grab, first of all, the chart, and we'll start with Aries. And we will go, we're not doing world astrology. I'm going to start doing Wednesdays up for world astrology, and I'll be putting out content then. I haven't started yet. Maybe that'll begin in September, where I primarily focus on world astrology. Now, I don't know if you can hear what I'm hearing, but it is like dumpster city out there. I guess it must be, I just moved to a new neighborhood and I didn't realize all these apartment buildings, how loud the dumpsters are going to be on a day when they're taking garbage pickup. But holy man, remind me not to record anymore on this day of the week, which is Friday. All right. So I'm not going to, I'm going to show you, this is a story playing out on the 23rd of this week. Venus on the 23rd will come into a perfect square to Mars, and that's what you're seeing. It begins to start playing out on Monday, the 21st. It doesn't really close down even until the end of this week. You'll feel it playing out all the way through to Friday. So you may as well say Monday to Friday. There's a hot, sexy love story. Mars and Venus squaring can be very passionate, very sexy, very sexual, very romantic, very feisty energy, for sure. But if you want to take a look at this in the sky, that's Venus right here, conjoined with the asteroid Ops. She looks like a pineapple. I always think I call her the pineapple goddess. And you'll also see Mars with the south node. And this is what we call a square. Wow. That's not exactly a straight line. I'm using my finger on my cursor, but a square, which is 90 degrees away. And it's tension, and it requires actions, and it requires decisions. And it's happening at 21 degrees. Oh my God, 21 degrees of Gemini and 21 degrees of Virgo. I'm going to close one more window. I mean, that's nuts. I'm hoping that helps, because I'm sure we heard shattering glass right now. All righty. So that's going to be a turning point, guys. It's a critical turning point in something you began in all kinds of stories. We'll cover that for your sign as we get going. And it's going to finalize by January. You'll know, like, it'll be an over and done deal. And we're going to start, of course, with Aries. Let me repeat that. Aries, you're always first. Clear all drawings. Okay. And we get rid of the, we put Aries in there. This is not a long video today, I hope. Aries, sun, moon, and rising, you go first. And this is the week ahead. And this is the most important story of the week ahead. And really, the others are just backdrop singers. We can even put it on the 22nd. It doesn't matter. It's playing out all week long. So here we have Monday, July the 21st, and we have Aries. And through this week till Friday, the dominant story is Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Sun sign, your career and purpose matters. Moon sign, that's stuff to do with your home and nest. And your rising sign is everything about your life, the character in the simulation. I also want to say, and I forgot to mention, Sky Reader starts in January. Join me then. January starts in September. I hope that's not a Freudian slip. And we're going to be doing 6 weeks live, and you're going to be able to be your own astrologer, time your best life by learning some ancient timing tools that are very simple, and how to sky read, how to read your natal chart and the sky. Come aboard for that. If you want more information about signing up or getting on the early bird discount code waitlist, you're going to get a discount code if you're on the wait list. Get on the wait list so you get the discount code to sign up for my class. It's coming to a theater near you in the month of September. 6 weeks, live course, weekly Q&As, Discord group, and Facebook group. It's going to be fun. I've done it 6 times. This is my 6th time teaching it. Come aboard. I only teach it live. You can't buy it for resale. It's fun, and you're in the room with me, and I'm trying to make sure you understand what I'm teaching. Okay, so let's get going back to the sky. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. First off, the energy here is to remind you that in February of 24, you began a cycle with Mars and with Venus that finishes in January of 26. And this is the closing act of the final chapter. And Venus has got opportunity and happy endings after times of travail relative to your 3rd house of trips and travel and short distance travel, teaching and learning, writing and communicating, marketing and selling, social media, the sibling one younger, general relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, and your neighbors and neighborhood. Now, I want you to consider that, okay? Just pause and consider something. I want you to consider that as this square is happening, Mars is with the South Node, and there's something you need to let go of. It could be something to do with a part of the job or work you're doing, because Mars on the South Node here could say, let go of a position at work, let go of a part of your work, let go of a responsibility at work. It can also be letting go of something to do with a debt situation, karmic debts or real life debt. So you can even let go of something to do with your health matters, like you just know you got to let go of something in order to increase your better health. Those are Mars South Node, let go, let God kind of vibes. But you'll notice that Venus is at the bending or squaring the nodes of fate. I put a whole video out about Venus at the bending of the nodes of fate. It's already out. Go watch that video. But what you also need to consider is that the seed was planted in the 11th house of great gain. So this final act, this final chapter, and a story that began back in February of 24 is to enact the greater gains of your career. And with Pluto up there now, power, wealth, transformation, regeneration. What gains are worth it for you? You may get them through Venus, through writing, communicating, teaching, through traveling, through things you're doing in the social media landscape. That's where she sits. There's opportunities opening up for you there. There's goodness after times of difficulty opening up for you there. Now, I'm an Aries sun and moon, and I've been writing on Substack, and I've been trending like 22 in bestsellers, 95 in culture. Huh. That's the Pluto Chronicles. Go subscribe. It's in my description box under the video. But I would say that's part of this building Venus Mars square. I started the Substack in December, and that was the opposition between Mars and Venus. So I can see the connection here between what I desire to write successfully again and not just be a YouTube weather girl. And I'm a writer by trade before I was before I was on here. So you can go through your life and say, all you Aries, You're looking to enact a dream, a wish, a fulfillment, something you desire. You've been working with that energy since February of 24, and now you're ready to see it through one way or another. But in order to receive the desire you want, which is the house of desire, the 11th house of your goals and dreams and wishes, in order to receive that, you got to let go of something. Mars says you can't have it all. You just can't. What has to be released so that the true desire can emerge? And with the house of writing, where Venus is, and the house of travel and teaching and broadcasting and marketing, selling, all of that, there's some true desire that can be fulfilled. It can be fulfilled through new opportunity, which is exciting. Ops is there, sudden shocking surprises with Uranus, and Venus is willing to bring it to you. And Mars is willing to cut away the thing that holds you back from it. Some of you might just actually have to let go of an entire job. Some of you might be a part of the job you do in order to wake up something brand new. And it's deeply fated, for Venus is bending the North Node, and she's in that crosshairs of destiny, the crosshairs of fate. So I would encourage you to think about how a seed was planted in your desires and wishes in February of 24 for a fulfillment, the gains in your career that you truly want, the influence over groups of people that you're possibly wanting to experience, and ultimately the wish fulfillment house itself. Venus is like fairy godmother, and she sat there and planted some wish dreams come true. Some of you, it might have to do with love stories. Venus will always bring in love stories no matter where she goes. And so did you plant a seed for love in February of 24 in your 11th house of friendship? Some of you may have gotten into love stories through friendship circles, and that could have been true even earlier than that, back in 2022. Was that when she last joined? I showed you the chart earlier in Aquarius. Let me double check that. Give me a sec. I'm going to go back and take a look at my screenshot of that. Hang in there. Oh, maybe I won't even bother, but I think it's worth noting that it was February of, no, it was March of 22. In March of 22, Venus co-joined Mars in Aquarius. So maybe some of you planted love seeds too back then in Aquarius, because this is a house of friendship circles. And so that could be like you planted a seed for new love, and it came through friends, allies, benefactors, or an elder sister or brother, a sibling, introducing you to someone. Those are ways it could have played out back then. But now, you know, in this new story that began in 24 February, if it is about a love story, then it's in a closing chapter that requires decisions and actions. If it's a karmic debt, like sometimes we get into relationships like twin flames or something, or soulmates of some kind, and there is like a shelf life. It has a reason for being. And that's Mars South Node in the house of karmic debt. And there literally could be a closure here, a debt completion energy of some sort. And Venus could say, well, if you're going to close it out, it may go through an email, a phone call, a communication, a letter, or through travel. You know, maybe you'll travel to see the person, or they'll travel to you, or you'll travel together. And yet, at the same time, there's some opportunities emerging as well. But it could be closing out one love story because it's got a shelf life to open up something new. If you're single and you start a new relationship under this, which you could, it would be always prone to that square between Venus and Mars, which will be fraught with tension. So I wouldn't necessarily try dating under this influence, just so you know. If you're single, take a break until Mars and Venus are out of the square by the end of this week. All right, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. First thing you have to notice is that you've got this energy of a re-beginning, reboot, fresh start, February of 2024. That's when Venus joined in Aquarius with Mars and said, let's start a new story that ends in January of 26. That's quite a long ways, isn't it? Because there was a lot of retrograde in Aries. So Venus is slowing down, had slowed down last spring, this spring behind us. So Aquarius is your 10th house of career, your 10th house, your visible reputation in the world. Job, it could be your job, work, career space. It could be also the house of weddings And so you may have planted a seed up there that you want this thing, February 24, put a ring on it, or I want Taurus, you want this money situation to resolve itself connected to your career. Venus is a ruler of money and possessions and all the things we desire in the matrix, but it's a very focal point in the reputation and career space that you began a seed planting. And as time went on, we had turning points like August of 24 and December of 24. And the final turning point is July of 25. This is it. And so this whole week ahead, really, Monday through Friday, you're feeling the energy of a fated and destined square because Mars is with the node of fate squaring Venus in the middle of it in the money house. Second house is earnings, money, resources, possessions. Mars is in the house of entrepreneurship, creativity, and romantic love itself. But because Venus is in the second house of financial matters relative to the seed planting in the 10th, where Pluto now sits, a lot of you might be looking at this from the very beginning as a vocational work story. What is it you want to create, achieve in your work life, in your career space, in your how you make money and keep money and earn money? So my daughter is a Taurus sun, and I can say that she did indeed want to get a job. And as the seed planting happened in February of 24, by the end of the summer, by August, she had started a new job. August 23rd was the first act. By December of 24, she recognized she was exhausted and this wasn't the right job. By July of 25, she may start a new job or quit the one she has. You see what I mean? There's a great example. So with this energy, Venus is on opportunity. So lucky breaks, happy endings after times of difficulty with finances, surprises with Uranus, flowing to Pluto, of course, in the 10th house of career. So you may get an unexpected new job, an unexpected opportunity financially. Those are true. Mars is cutting and severing and squaring Venus from the 5th house. Some of you might have to let go of, surrender, or release a hobby, a creative thing, an entrepreneurial thing, to take a real day job. If you have an entrepreneurial business, and you might be letting it go in order to be employed under this energy. Mars may cut, end, and sever a romantic love story. Now, if you do end a romantic love story, like, dating someone, which is not necessarily likely, but it could happen under this, then it's also connected to matters of financial stories. Like, you can't be with the person because you need to make money and you go move away somewhere, or there's a financial hardship in their life and they're not ready for a relationship. These are ways that may show up. Mars is also in a very dharmic house, and he will cut away anything that isn't in alignment with your true purpose. And so finding a job or a career path that's more aligned with a true purpose could be another story we're seeing here. What is your true purpose that you can move toward? Mars South Node will help you do that as you also begin to earn more money, get new opportunities financially, and it will definitely connect to your career. A lot of the sky is deeply faded. Very faded. Mercury's telling Venus what to do. He's retrograde in your 4th house. So also sometimes this can look like you need to change your home, sell a home, buy a home, move your home in this whole money, career, destined, faded storyline. Would you move your home right away? No, all of this is playing out energetically until January of 2026. Money changes, career changes, money surprises, career opportunities, and maybe moving your home could happen, especially if your home is a move to a place you've been before. Mercury is retrograde to a town, a city, a country, or a neighborhood you've been before. That could be very relevant for you as well. Been to before. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. We have a story here with a synodic cycle that began in February of 24. That's Venus conjoining Mars and asking you from Aquarius, what's your deepest dharmic alignment with purpose? What's the meaning of life? What do you want to what do you desire to create and bring to you that Mars can help make decisions and actions to create? Is it about study, learning, book publishing, going to traveling to foreign countries, pilgrimages, legal and court cases working out? Those are 9th house matters. As time went on and the future unfolded. Then we saw, tension August 23rd of 24 and December of 24, and now July of 25. These are the pivot points in the cycle. In essence here, Mars is in the fourth house, and he's like, okay, what do you got to surrender and release from your childhood, about your mother relationship, connected to your ancestral line, but maybe also connected to things that happen in the home or people in the home or situations in the home. Well, at the same time, Venus is saying, I'm bringing you opportunity. I'm bringing it to you here. Here's your opportunity. Here's your happy ending. Here's your positive thing happening after times of difficulty. And it's good, and it's surprising you because she's in your sign. You're taking it on particularly well. If you're a Gemini sun, it's definitely career opportunities, and Gemini moon, home opportunities, and Gemini rising, any opportunity that you would want in your life. Partly with Mars down here and the North Node in the 10th house, Venus is in a very fated position here. And she does fold out a story all the way till January of 26. This last square will last until January of 26. Some of you may find yourself, because of this, moving your home to find love, or love relationships moving your home. And some of it may be more far away from home or a longer distance from home than you normally would go. But there could be love and movement away from one's home over the course of the months that follow through till January of 26. What you need to let go of, though, is ancestral, deeply rooted, and childhood patterns regarding themes of love, desire, possessions, and money. And those are really playing out at a deep soul level for you, so that you can move forward unencumbered from patterns that are unconscious that may sabotage your success in life and hold you back from getting the desires that you are wishing to fulfill in your lifetime. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky is opening up a story where you may experience this energy of getting your desires met and also letting go of the things that are obstacles to that, from a cycle that began in Aquarius in February of 24. Now, that's your 8th house, and that's a deep place of self-reflection. It's very psychological. It's very archetypal. It has to do with a rebirth of self. Many of you are thinking also about the money you share with the spouse, that you invest in the stock markets, that you have in your bank account, or, it's not the bank account, but the investment structure, stocks, all of that. I wonder too, as inheritances, spousal support money, but there's a sense of the money that comes from unearned income being something you've been investigating since February of 24. And it's also your tax structures as well. Now, Venus is money, so she would work with you on that, or wealth, or things you need in order to flourish in the game of life. And Mars is what you need to cut away from and end. So the two of them have a collaborative union. Here we go, all the way through a turning point in August of 24 and December of 24, leading to the final act, July of 25. All week long, you're feeling this play out. This turning point has Venus in the 12th house of self-undoing, addictions, bad habits, and patterns. If there's any way in which you're your own worst enemy and you let your own self down, then this is going to help you heal and reveal that to be something you no longer need. Money generated from borderless income and digital revenue, or far off people in far off places and shores, internationally creating clients or working for a company abroad. Those are ways that money comes, by the way, from the 12th house. Venus is happy to bring you that money if she can do that. Opportunity is knocking, and Uranus is surprises, and it looks positive. At the same time, though, Mars is saying, let go, surrender, and release, something coming off of the 3rd house. The 3rd house is with the South Node. That's where you have to let go of something. And the 3rd house is writing, communicating, marketing, social media. It's things connected to siblings, especially the one younger, but all siblings. It's your extended relatives and neighborhood stories. What you're going to let go of here is something that would inhibit your creating a life that is unencumbered from the self-undoing addictions and bad habits and patterns, and surprising, exciting, exhilarating freedom that comes from that. but also letting go of things in the third house that hold you back. Maybe an obligation to a sibling, a friend from childhood, a situation in your local environment, obligations to your social media landscape, and it's draining you, obligations to writing project. Whatever you're doing down there, Mars is going to help you release it so that Venus can bring on the good stuff while you get let go of the challenges. Ultimately, with the South Node and North Node axis, where Venus is situated, is it a rare, once in a lifetime pivotal turning point in this regard. Now that they've stopped moving garbage in my neighborhood, I will open the window and make myself less hot. Give me a minute. That was excruciatingly noisy. For anyone who was in the intro, and you're not the sign that's listening now, you missed a whole bunch of noise. I'm not kidding. It was awful. Oh, why are we locking the door? No one's dropping down on a balcony. Oh, did I lock it? Okay. Whew. Okay, back to you. Okay, that's what I got for you. Let me know how it goes, guys. This is, again, I'd say first in a lifetime pivotal Mars square Venus turning point week ahead. That's my new title. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. First things first, go back January of 2024. Why? Because that's February, because that's when Mars and Venus joined together. I hope you watched the intro. In your seventh house of long-term committed love, marriage, significant others, audience, marketplace, and public. Seventh house. Now, there's a new beginning there. Both planets want to bring it for you. They're trying their best to do it in the ways they do. Mars separates, Venus adds on. Mars is subtraction, Venus is addition. And as this is happening, you have a cycle at the last chapter of the pivotal turning points of February of 24, August of 24, December of 24, and July of 25. This is the last act. July of 25, this whole week ahead, is Venus in the house of what you desire. It's your long-range goals, dreams, and visions. She's with surprises, Uranus, and an opportunity and exhilaration and the unexpected. The opportunity and happy ending asteroid is with you. Yay! And it could also indicate major breakthroughs through friends, benefactors, and allies. As Mars squares the South Node in your second house, you might be getting ready to let go of a form of income, let go of a way of making money, especially with Venus and the gains of the 10th house. A new career wake opportunity, a new way of earning money is coming to you. Now, business partnerships and long-term love partnerships is where the seed was planted in January. But now we're finishing up that new beginning story by focusing on the 11th house and on the second house. And I wonder if some of you aren't going to end up in a story where a friend could bring you into contact with a new love relationship if you're single looking for love. But you still need to surrender and let go of some kind of money situation. That's not going to go away. And Venus is definitely working it for you. Business partnership contractual agreements are up for the story here. And maybe some of you are getting ready to step into some kind of new partnerships, agreements, or alliances. But if you're going to let go of something and it's Mars here in your second house, you may also let go of a place you live. Mars is the ruler of the fourth house. And if you let go of a home or a place you live, it may also connect to letting go of a relationship. If you need to let go of a relationship and change your home because you live with that person, that makes a lot of sense. All said and done, could you get new love off of this? Absolutely. But would you start this week ahead? No effing way. It's too gnarly. If you want a new relationship, it could emerge between the end of this week and January the 8th. But what you have to dust off from is something old, something outworn. And it looks like maybe changes where you live might be on the menu, time to move your home or something like that. Look for the opportunity, though, with surprises to come from the 11th house of good spirit. Go ahead and listen to my Venus Bends the Nodes of Fate video. It'll go more just into the nodal bending without the square story from the history of the synodic cycle. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Venus is sitting in your 10th house, squaring Mars in your first house with a south node. This is interesting. You know, you planted a seed in February of 24. in the sign of Aquarius, your sixth house of work and job and livelihood and health. Sometimes it connects to undoing and addictions. You said, I'm going to start something new, going to unite with my desires and separate from what doesn't work for me in that area of my life in February of 24. And you took a turning point in August of 24. And you took another turning point in December of 24. And here we are in July, the final act, the final turning point. If it is about a work situation that wants to unfold, then Venus brings opportunity, luck, and surprises as she's up in the top of the sky with happy career endings after time of difficulty in a destined first in a lifetime, fated, nodal bending way. At the same time, what are you going to choose to let go of? Mars cuts, ends, and severs, and he's ruled by Mercury in the house of addictions and self-undoing. And that's also true of where it started. Sixth house activates the same energies, your own self-defeating habits and patterns, especially revolving it around addictions or misuse of substances or dietary problems. So it looks like some of you are going to release and surrender something that's not good for you. And Mercury's supporting you to do that. But at the same time, as you do that, releasing, you're choosing a new direction. You're taking actions. The best thing I can say is some positive career surprises coming this week, but it's also a story that unfolds until January of 26. Very likely that many of you will make changes in your career. Mars is squaring the 10th house and Uranus as well, and Venus, of course. Cut and sever, change, let go of the job, of the career. And Mars ruling, of course, your third house. I'm wondering if you'll go to a different neighborhood or you'll end up with a job in a locale or a different town or a city. Maybe some of that will be true for some of you. And also, lastly, that's what I've got for you. Looks to me like it's very exciting opportunity surprises in the career space this week ahead with a new cutting and ending and severing something. You can't get a new job unless you let go of the old job. You can't get a new career opportunity unless you let go of the old. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. What a sky you've got here. It's going to open up some opportunities for you because Ops and Venus are in the 9th house, squaring Mars in this week ahead, the 12th house. At a very simple level, hey, opportunities in book publishing, traveling, pilgrimages, journeys, publications, happy endings, higher education opportunities as well, and surprising ones. But Mars is squaring from the house of far off distant shores, foreign lands too. So there's some changes, some letting go, some endings maybe, decisions being made to let go of some for long distance foreign shore person or situation to open up an opportunity for something different or something new. Backroom deals and negotiations may be ongoing, but there's some need to let go of some kind of plan that does not allow you to fulfill a greater dharmic purpose. Some of you might look at this opportunity, Lakshmi Venus, very lucky opportunities trying to come the way of a Libra. You started planting a seed here, though, in your 5th house of entrepreneurial business, creative endeavors, projects, romantic love. Venus Mars planted a seed in 2024 February, and maybe even a fertility seed for you guys too. So it's a dicey one because although Venus plants fertility seeds in the 5th house for having a baby, Mars is always like, let's not do it, right? Let's cut that, let's terminate. So you might just keep aware of that this is maybe a fertility cycle for those of you who can have children. It began in February 24 and closes out in January 26. This is a testing of that cycle, and Venus flows to the fertility house with opportunity apples and pineapples and surprises. And it could be an unexpected pregnancy for you or your partner anytime between, this July of 25 and January of 2026. Don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, where are you your own worst enemy? Where do you let yourself down? Where do you hold yourself back? Where are you, falling away from yourself? That's the 12th house. And Mars is helping you cut and sever and let go of the things that you have in your life, the situations and the karmic debt relationships even that no longer serve you so that you can be free. And he does rule Mars, your 7th house of long-term committed love. And so some of you might be pondering letting go of a long-term committed love relationship as well in the 6 months that follows this, July through to January. Remember, it's not just about the week ahead. Although astrology tells you everything is a week ahead, it's not. Okay, keep in mind all of that. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let me take another slurp of my kombucha. Okay, February of 24. Seed planted between Venus and Mars in your 8th house of chunky money. Occult mysteries. Deep, powerful, and profound death and rebirth. Finances, banks, loans, mortgages. Inheritances. You planted a seed. Had a turning point in August of 24. Another turning point in December of 24. Last turning point now, July of 25. The ending of this, the final act, is Venus in the house of chunky money. Oh, sorry, I have to rephrase that. Start again. I apologize. Sorry about that. The seed was planted for you, Scorpios, in the 4th house of homeland, property, real estate, legacy, and family wealth. And that's something you've been working through August of 24, December of 24, July of 25. My son's a Scorpio rising, and he and his wife thought they might sell their property, and it didn't work out. They wanted to sell the property sometime around February 24. They put the thought in motion. By August of 24, they realized ain't going to happen. You see what I'm saying? By December of 24, they were looking at other strategies like refinancing their mortgage. And July of 25 will be the next story in this story. Okay. Chunky money coming in, an inheritance, an unexpected chunk of opportunity and luck and happy endings financially that surprise a lot of Scorpios. For Venus can bring that money to you on this cycle of July of 25 to January of 26, not just this week ahead. There's a pivotal turning point this week ahead. You must let go and surrender some kind of 11th house story. Now, that can be let go of an old goal or a dream or a wish so that you can pursue this situation financially to do with home and chunks of money. But you could also let go of a career situation, like I don't want to work in this career, I'm not making enough money, or I'm letting go of this career, it's draining me. Anything like that. The career gains house is a release, cut, sever, end. Venus is opportunity and money and chunks of it. You could let go of a relationship with a friend or an elder sibling that's no longer useful to you and could in some way be holding you back from some kind of financial fulfillment. All roads lead back to that 4th house inception. Everything is about the land, the property, the home, the wealth from your family of origin. It's possible that some of you may receive with Jupiter in your 9th house some inheritance money over the course of the next 6 months. But even this week ahead, there may be the first steps toward that, or the first surprising information that kind of opportunity financially, some chunk of money may be available to you. And it may take up to 6 months for that money to come into your own accounts, so to speak. Finally, if you did want to move your home way back when, you still might be able to do it in the next 6 months. There's hope ahead because financial resources are opening up in fated and pivotal ways to allow for a change in your home, life, or in the home itself or of the home. Now, Sagittarius, you entered into a sun, moon, and rising. You entered into a contract in Aquarius between Venus and Mars. Aquarius, February of 24, it's your 3rd house. You wanted a contract around writing, teaching, selling, marketing, social media spaces, local neighborhood, travel, skills-based learning or teaching. You wanted to commit to some desire and the fulfillment of it. And Mars and Venus, we're going to work on that between February of 24 and January of 26. What happens is that August of 24, December of 2024, July of 25 are turning points in that first story that began in February of 24. Venus is in the house of contracts and legal agreements. Venus is in the 7th house of your long-term committed love story. Venus is with opportunity, surprises, surprising opportunity, Uranus, happy endings from difficult times in business partnerships, the way you connect to your audience and marketplace, long-term committed love stories. It all began in a travel house as well. To keep your eye on that ball, there may be an opportunity for travel, or travel opportunities can lead to love. These are things that some Sagittarius are looking at possibly having experienced or will experience. Venus is also squaring Mars this week ahead. Well, she bends the no to fate, and she's really critically demanding him, Venus, Mars, to let go of something 10th house. Now 10th house can be the house of weddings, so letting go of a marriage. Now it doesn't, but there's opportunity and excitement and exhilaration, or letting go of some visible reputation or status you've had in this world, or letting go of your career, job matters, and taking decisions and actions to do that. Because ultimately, maybe the thing that you associated with as your primary career or purpose is no longer true for you, but new opportunities are coming through other people, maybe women. New opportunities are emerging for you. It's exciting. I don't know what they are, but there are new opportunities here for sure. Now, another thing that I might say about this story is, are you looking for social media exposure or social media success? And I bring that up because Venus and Mars started off in a very social media platform, third house, and you could really bust out here and have some increase of social media celebrity or success. For she's in the house of the audience and the marketplace, and things can maybe be very exhilarating and exciting here. But if you are, why is the South Node up there in the 10th house? Because maybe you have to let go of one form of a career. So you've got a day job and suddenly you go viral on YouTube. Well, maybe you're starting to think in the next 6 months, I can let go of my day job and move into my social media story. Certainly with Saturn in the 5th house, you can be very entrepreneurial and successful in the next 4 years. So don't rule out that possibility. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, way the heck back in the day. You went into February of 24, new beginnings and fresh starts. It opened up a quarter of possible success in your earnings, monies, resources, finances, vocation and calling. The second house is the calling. Why is your soul on this planet? And you want to start something, to investigate something new. Venus says, what do you truly desire? If you're going to make money, how do you desire it? Mars is going to fetch it and make it happen. That was back in February of 24. Could also have changed your food style. And then August of 23, August of 24, December of 2024 are two turning points. The last one is July of 2025. We're in it this week ahead, and it will unfold until January of 26. Last act says you are making some surrender, release, and let go in the house of God. You might let go of a third marriage. You might let go of a long-term, you might let go of a country, a foreign place, a visa, a book publishing deal, surrender something to do with your academic ambition, let go and release something to do with a father figure, let go and release something to do with what you thought your dharmic purpose was. And at the same time, Venus has got job opportunities written all over her. For goodness gracious, opportunity in the house of work with sudden surprises and possibility of travel and work, travel and karmically positive opportunities emerging for you in what? Not just the week ahead, but through to 2026 January. It's not a one-off story. Now, Mars is the ruler of the house of career gains itself. So again, maybe let go of a way of gaining money in your career so that you can also receive this brand new opportunity that's coming to you in the house of work, in the house of livelihood, in the house of service. You may have an opportunity for a rental property, and it may require travel. It may not be where you currently live, but travel can bring a rental opportunity to you, a rental opportunity that could become a new home. That's another story for Capricorns in the next 6 months, not just the week ahead. The cycle is opening doors that last about 6 months till they complete by January. So there's a lot going on here. If there's any money owed to you from anybody, there's a chance of that money coming to you from wherever, like debts being repaid in sudden surprising ways in the next 6 months, especially if debts come from a sibling 3 older than you where Jupiter is sitting. Okay. All right, let's keep on going. I know it's a quick one, guys, but it is a day where I don't have a lot of recording time. Normally my videos are probably longer than this one, which might at the most be an hour. Well, I'm giving you what you need to know. That's what matters. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Aquarius. Yes, February of 24, you planted the seed of the new. And you did the same thing, by the way, in 22, March of 22. So you've been really working it. What do you desire? What do you truly want? And how are you going to take action, make decisions to get it? And this is tested you in August of 2024, and it tested you again in December of 2024. And then we circle all the way back to July. The final act, the final test is here, the closing square. You are the one making decisions and taking actions to come into touch with your values and desires, and maybe learn what actions and decisions need to be taken and what needs to be leaving your life, separating from your life in order to fulfill what you desire. The turning point here this week ahead at the fated bending of the nodes is your fifth house of joy, enjoyment, pleasure, creativity, art, and romance and sex. Sudden fun, opportunities, and surprises may emerge, not just this week ahead, but over the next 6 months. And I don't know what you're letting go of with that, but that's Mars South Node up there saying, let go, release, and surrender some kind of situation that's deeply karmatic, to say the very least, or has something to do with chunky money. Chunky money is, I didn't earn it. I got spousal support, inheritance money. I made a passive income. You want to release and surrender something also karmic. I mean, the deepest karma is of the 8th. Mercury rules that karma, and he's in the house of committed love. And maybe some of you will let go of a committed love story over the course of 6 months. That's a possibility for sure. But if you do, it's because you're letting go of one relationship story for another relationship, whether it's a business partnership or whether it's a way you reach out to your clients, audience, and marketplace, or it's a real committed love. Some of you need to surrender or release it, let it go. It's a karmic debt done. And why I say that is because with Mercury ruling Mars South Node in the significant relationship house across from where the seed is planted, some of you may need to let go of that business partnership, that way you serve the audience and marketplace and public, or let go of a relationship. All I can say is that Venus and opportunity and luck and happy endings favors creative, entrepreneurial, artistic endeavors, as well as romantic love that surprises you, because there is an element of surprise, and that could unfold a new relationship as well in the 6 months that follows for every single Aquarius out there. Finally, the last story is Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, planting a seed of new beginnings. It's Aquarius. It's a 12th house. It's about time you let go of the addiction, self-undoing, bad habits, and patterns. It's about time you got ready to make money in digital borderless income and revenue. It's about time that you entertained the ashram, going into the deep, going into the solitude, going into the contemplation of the 12th house. You planted the seed in February of 24, fulfilling it by January of 26. You hit some testing points, August of 2024, another testing point, December of 2024, final testing point, July of 25. This is an energy where this time around, Venus is in the house of the home, land, property, opportunity, sudden, shocking, and surprising could come to you. Yay, you. And it comes through Mars. You might have to let go, surrender, and release a business partnership, a way you reach out to an audience, or surrender, release a relationship to a committed partner. At the same time, that surrender leads you to an opportunity regarding a place to reside, a home to live in. It's surprising, it's sudden, it's exciting, it's exhilarating. Now, because if you let go of one relationship, you may get a new one. If you do, it will be close to home. The 4th house means I'm taking the garbage out. I'm walking, into my garden. I'm in my town. I'm in my hometown even. I'm close to home. So if you're going to start a new relationship in the next 6 months because you're looking for one or you're single, it's happening close to home. But ultimately, the reset button was about the deep spiritual impulse to find God, to spiritually liberate, to go into the ashram, to come into a condition of surrender. And if you've got that surrender thing going on and you're opening up to surrender to whatever the divine plan is and let go of all the things that hold you back from spiritual awakening, let's say, that's a deep level of what's going on here for you. And it began also in February of 22, like March of 22. You've been working it for 2 cycles in a row. Then you could open up to this great, lucky, prosperous energy in the 4th house. abundance from the home, abundance in the home, an abundant, prosperous, sudden, exciting new home. Mercury retrograde in the 6th house might give you a new home connected to work opportunities from your past returning to you. Okay. So it may not just be a new home, it may be, or things you're doing in the home bringing you back to types of work you did in the past in and from your home and prospering there. That's what I've got for everyone. There's a lot going on in the sky. I've already did Venus at the bending of the nodes of fate video. I'll pin it to the description box. Go watch it. There is no outro today. I am running off to an appointment on Friday, July the 18th. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Come join me in Sky Reader. Come join me on Patreon. Come join me on Pluto Chronicles. Come join me on all of my other stories in my description box. Cosmic Moonshine newsletter is in this description box, and people who join that often get to win a reading with me. There's ways to see me for a reading. You have to be in either Patreon community or my Moonshine newsletter to even get on the chance for a reading these days. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.